Hi, it's Miss Sandy. Easter is upon us. Happy Resurrection Day. If you're like me, you have years where that Easter basket is just not as full as you would like it to be, or doesn't look as full as it should. And yes, we spoil our children, but isn't it nice to have the basket look like it's really filled out? So, I have a few quick sews that you can do to throw in the basket that look really cute and can also make the basket look a little fuller. Number one would be these cute little chickens, and I'm sure you've seen them before. Oh, I lost his little eye. Here he is right here. I'll find it here somewhere. But anyway, just to set in there to be cute, and they're cute to have around the house in the springtime. And those are quick sew and stuff, and you're ready to go. And they only take 2 pieces of fabric, and I had some here. Whatever size square you want, it just needs to be square. So you can make them big or small. These right here are 4.5 pre-cuts, I believe, that I got many years ago making a baby quilt, and these were some of the leftover ones. It's up to you what kind of fabric you use, color-wise, but they're super fun. And number 2 will be little stuffed carrots, and I'll show you those in a moment, but let's just get started. You take your square and you put it right sides together, pretty sides together with another square. And all you're going to do to start with is you're going to sew along a few lines and add a few things in. So as you can see on this little guy, I have some yarn up here. I have another little guy that doesn't have his eyes yet. And on him, you can see, it's just a piece of fabric that I folded over and put in there, and then I clipped all along it. And you can ruffle it up a little more than I have. There's 100 ways to do it. You can take a little triangle and put it on the back for a tail, which I've done many times, but didn't really feel like it today. This particular beak here is a piece of cotton fabric that I've done a pretty poor job of folding into a prairie triangle, I think they call it. I don't know, but anyway, and then I had to fold it over once more because I wanted it smaller. This little guy has a piece of felt that I don't know, clipped off the corner of a leftover piece of felt. And they're super fun, super fast, and let's get started. I'm going to get together what I want to use for my beak and for my little, what do they call that thing on top? I don't know, I'm going to call it his hair or his top feathers, but anyway, together, and we'll get going on this. Here we are back. Woohoo. Okay, so I want to put my cone in. Comb? Is that what they call it? Oh, maybe it is a comb. Okay, anyway, I want to put it in, and now I have my piece of fabric. I like to do red. You can do whatever color you want. You see, it's not quite a square, but just whatever works for you. I folded it over twice. Now, you do have to remember that you're going to be putting a 1/4 of an inch, a scant 1/4 of an inch seam allowance in these. So just keep that in mind when you put these in. And you don't want to put it in your fabric like this, because then it'll be in on the wrong side. So you want to take your little comb, turn it upside down so that the raw edge of your fabric is in there. And I'm going to show you that because I'm doing such a scant allowance, I actually even put mine down a little bit. And if you want it to be kind of slanted like I did on this little guy, of course, all you have to do is just put it, do like that. Move it so that it's slanted in the fabric. Leave a little bit here for the seam allowance. And then you're also going to put your little beak in. You want to put him in down a ways. I'm slow today. Okay, you're gonna, trigonometry. Let me move this guy down. See, like this. This guy up to just below where the seam allowance would be. Then you're gonna lay your little piece of fabric down. I'm trying to hold it up for you for the camera, and my old brain can't figure all that out. So then I'm gonna take my piece of fabric and I'm gonna make sure I have it in the right way. And I'm gonna put it right there. Now you couldn't even see that. Here we go. Da 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 da. Okay. So now, I don't know if you can see, but what we're gonna do, I'm trying to get it so you can see me a little better. There we go. Okay. How about if, there. All right. Now what I'm gonna do is, because my brain doesn't work well if I don't do something like this when you're doing these kind of things, I'm just gonna draw it in. Now this pen is a wonderful pen. I'm sure you've heard of them by now, but I use them all the time, and I think they made them for students so that they could use this little rubberized end to actually erase the ink. But they are wonderful little pens. It's called Frixion by Ball or Pilot. Ball. It's a ballpoint, but it's by Pilot. Sorry. And they are wonderful because you even get your iron near them and the heat just erases everything. So anyway, I'm drawing along here. So let me get my little piece of, and I'm going to go around there. Going to go around here. I'll do like my sister used to do all the time. She'd go do, 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 and up this way. All right. So now, as you can see, I hope, I just feel like you can't see well enough. Up, there we go. I have my little beak here. I have my little cone here. And I've put them in like this. Now remember, if you are putting this in slanted, this end that looks like it's further in is actually going to be higher up after we sew it. And this end that looks like it's higher up will actually be further into the seam, which will make more sense after I get done. So now I'm going to put this on, and this is the direction you need to sew. And I will warn you that if you don't do it right the first time, you're either going to be pitching it into your scrap pile and starting over, or you're going to be picking a lot of seams. So you need to sew right here, up along where the comb is up here, right down here where your beak is, and right to here, stop and leave an opening, and then go and use your back stitch both here and here. When that's done, we will be going to the very next step. Okay, so now you can see, I don't know if you can see the stitches, but the stitches are there all the way around, and I ironed it so that ink is gone. And basically what my stitches do is, if I turn it out a little bit here, I don't have my little doohickey with me, but I'll get him in a minute. So now I have the beginnings of my, and I think that beak looks hilariously weird. Look at his big old nose. I may trim that a little bit. Let's see. A little better, a little better. And here's the comb up here. And we'll do more on that in just a minute. But basically what you have now is a square that has been sewn here, here, and here with an opening left there. And don't forget to backstitch on both sides of that opening and on this end and this end. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it back. Okay, and all we have left is this last opening. Now, this is the spot where, if you wanted to, you could put a triangle in it for the tail. And you can use anything you want. You can use felt, you can use any fabric you want, you can do it however you want. Just a little triangle that sticks out like a tail, and it's very cute. And you would insert it the same way you did the beak, with the beak going into the piece of fabric that you're going to sew. Your seam is here and the beak is just inside there. Okay? But I'm not going to put one on. So here, let me clip this little thread. It's driving me crazy. If I can find my clippers. Well, I can't, so I guess I'll use my scissors and I'll get my clippers. But anyway, because that would drive me crazy. Now you're going to take this piece that you have, and here is the first seam, here's the second seam, there's the third seam, here's that last opening, and you're going to take that and you're going to put your fingers on each side of it with a seam here and a seam here, and you're going to put those two seams together, just like that. And then I like to just fold one seam one way and one seam the other way, so you get kind of a sandwich. If you need to, you can pop a pin in there. It's not imperative that that seam match up exactly, but it will kind of change the shape of the chicken if you don't have those two seams lined up correctly. More thread that's driving me insane. I'm going to go and stitch this straight across with a back stitch at this end and a back stitch at this end, and then we'll be right back with you. We're back. Okay, I had some pink thread right there, so I threw it on the machine real quick so maybe you could see the stitch better. So this is the the seam we just did. As you can see, the comb is right there. And there's our little beak. Now you're just going to, you can clip the corners if you want to a little bit. But because this is kind of a, stuffed animal, kind of quirky little toy, it really doesn't, every little point doesn't have to be perfect, at least in my opinion. If you need it to be for you, I understand. So I'm now going to go to the spot where I did the little opening, left a little opening. And I'm just going to push this little bad boy through. Bad boy. Bad boy, bad boy. What you gonna do? Okay, so we're almost done here. Just pull her on through. Get that last. You weren't even able to see that. Laws almighty. Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to push those little corners out. And it's just, you, especially if you're a quilter, sewing this the way you do, it just seems wrong. I don't know how to put it any other way. But when you get done, you have this little guy, okay? And you put some stuffing in him. I had some stuffing here. Let me go grab some. And then we're going to take, and after we stuff him, we're going to do a ladder stitch right here on that little bottom hole that we just pulled him through. And we'll go from there. So I'll get back to you when I have my stuff. All right, here we are. Have my little guy, have my pillow stuffing. I'll tell you a little secret. I do not buy the stuffing, the polyfill that you buy in, you know, the fabric department or whatever. Because, well, now it's got to where one of the big bags is around $10. I don't know, $11. I don't know what it is now because I haven't done it in a few years. But I go to Walmart and they always have the, oh, what would you call it? An end cap, I was told by my granddaughter who has done some retailing. Those pillows that are like, well, when I started buying them, they were $3.97. I think they're $4.97 now. It's just a basic standard pillow, right? And if you buy the ones that are white, like this one, you will get, for $4.97, you get the white. I think you pay $5.97 if you buy the ones that have like the blue pillow ticking look to them. So if you buy those, you have almost double the amount of stuffing polyfill. It holds up better because it's made for pillows to last a really long time. It's much less expensive. And then the fabric that the pillow is made from is great for lining things. And if you use the pillow ticking one, pay the extra $1 for the pillow ticking one, you can use it to make a myriad of things with that striped fabric. And so it's a money-saving thing, and it does a lot of good to be able to do that. So here we are. We've got our little guy. Before I start stuffing him, I'm just going to take his little comb here, and I'm going to do a quick clip. I'm just going to do it, and then I'll show you. Try to stay just a tidge away from the seam because you don't want to cut your fabric of your little guy. Now, I could have made his comb a little shorter, like I did on this guy. I think I kind of like it better a little shorter, but I didn't, so there you go. Now, you can ruffle this up. I take it sometimes after I ruffle it initially, and if I have like jeans on, you can see now how I cut these. Just little strips like that. Just rub it on your jeans. You can also, if you want to, go underneath each of these loops of fabric and cut those to make it even more, I don't know, what do they call it? Shabby chic? Shabby chic? I don't know how a chicken can be chic, but I guess they can. But anyway, the more you do this, the more fraying and things you're going to get on it, and it's going to look cute. So then I'm going to take some of that fiber fill or pillow, and I'm going to just get it right on in there. Give myself, now these are, it's up to you if you want to stuff them really tight and get it in all the corners and just make it just as wonderful and perfect as can be. Or you can go with the attitude that I have, because I'm often in a hurry. And quite honestly, I have trouble reaching perfection. So I also like the fact that when you stuff them a little looser, I don't know, they're just squishy, more lovable. But get it right down in all those spots. I think I'll go ahead and use the rest of this, which is more than I usually use in one of these little guys, but it happened to be what I pulled out, and I'll try to get some into the corners. I'll use my little doober here to get some up into that. Push it in with my fat fingers and then push it into place. There we go. Now what I'm going to do next with this little guy is I'm going to take that place right there, that little opening at the bottom, and I'm going to do, I don't know, they have so many names for it, but when I was growing up it was called a ladder stitch. And it's basically a ladder stitch because you come in underneath with your needle and you pull your knot up tight against there so it's underneath and can't be seen. And then you just grab a bit of the fabric on one side and bring it through, go over to the other side right across from it and grab another piece of fabric and bring it through. And you do that all the way across, and it's called a ladder stitch because basically when you get done, it's like the thread makes a ladder type of look going all the way down. Pull it up tight, tie your knot, sew it, and pull it through the thing so that you're, well, I'll show you. Just give me a minute to get to the end. All right? Okay, I've got my needle in. As you can see, I've done most of the seam already. So basically what you do is, see how I have, I'm trying to see if you can see that. My thread is right here. Oh, I've got a little fuzzies. Okay, I'm just going to go in and pick up a little right on the lip. See? Just like that. And pull it through. I'm going to do that again. Sometimes you have to hold it up a little bit like this. You get to the end of it with all that stuffing, it's a little tricky. Take another bite of your fabric. So now I'm right here to the end. And again, I'm using white right. So now I'm just going to, see, I've got the one last little piece of fabric. I'm going to pull it through. I'm going to hold one end of it, pull it taut so that the thread is pulled tight down through there. And then I'm going to just take a little bit of, I don't know if you can even see that, just a tidge of the fabric with a little bit of the thread under the needle. See, I've got my finger here holding that thread. And now I'm just going to pull that loop down pretty close. I'm trying to see if you can see. I put my needle through. It's hard doing it slow to show. I wrap it around that needle through that loop a couple of times. Oh, I'm going to have to be careful here because there's some of that fuzzy from this stuffing. And I just pull it up tight. And then I'm going to, now that I pulled my knot up tight, I'm going to stick it right down through where the knot is. Push it up through the little body somewhere else. Give it a nice tug. And then I'm going to hold it tight so that it's pulled up a little, clip close to the fabric. And then that thread will be hidden inside my little chicken. Yay. Yay. Okay, my little chicken is almost ready to be himself and to entertain and be a cute decoration. I really made this comb too long. Well, he's a strut your stuff kind of chicken, isn't he? He's a strut your stuff. Okay, anyway, sorry. So now I'm going to show you, since I already started on this first little chicken I showed you. Now, what I've done is I made a small knot, pulled it, popped it through, so it's on the other side of the fabric. Then I have these little, can you see them? Let me move them over to where the creaminess is. They're little seed button bead thingies. You have to make sure you get them so that the hole in them is large enough to fit your needle through. But then I take and I put my needle through and bring it out the other side. So how's the best way to show you? Here we go. Here's the needle right here. I pushed him through onto the other side. Trying to figure this out on the camera angle. Try to get them as close, and that's not close enough for me, to the same spot. And then take another one of your little beads. Sorry, this is old lady hands here, so, and you find your hole. And you pull your needle through. Maybe. Why are you being so naughty? Oh, see, there it is. I'm going to have to get a different needle. The head on the eye on this needle will not fit through these. So I got to get one of my tiny embroidery needles. I'll be back. I'm going to go. I don't know if you can see that down further. I'm going to find the little hole where I had the bead before because that's where I want it. So now I'm going to push that needle through. I'm going to, I'm having a hard time seeing because of the light. Can you see where my knot is down here? I'm using black thread. When you want to pop it through, you simply put your thumb or finger and hold it so that that knot pops through the fabric behind, but doesn't pop through up above where you want it to be in the fabric. It takes a little force to pop it through. So it's going to hold your button or bead or whatever, but it just needs to be popped through. That's a quilting kind of thing. Then you put your little bead on. You stick it through. Oh, Sandy, hold it so they can see. Go through to the other side. Give her a look from the front to make sure it's even. Get it to promise to cooperate with you, which they never do promise, because they like to have the upper hand, so to speak. Put your other bead on. And then now that I have my second bead, ow, trigonometry, one of those days. The second bead on, I'm going to take a bit of the fabric and push it through to the other side right under that bead and put it, then bring it through and pull it tight and go back through 2 or 3, 4 times, however, whatever makes you feel comfortable. And then we'll be back to tie the knot. Okay, I've gone through a few times, and now I'm just going to tie it off. And the way I tie it off, I'm sure there are more practical, better ways, but I've done it this way my whole life. I get real close right up underneath it. Just take a little bit of fabric. My thread is caught around the little chicken butt. Pull it up pretty close. Whip my needle through that loop a couple of times. But when you're old, it takes you 15 minutes to do things like that. 1, 2, pull it up tight. Get right up under that bead, push it through, bring it out somewhere else in the body. Give it a tug, pull it tight, give it a snip. And now our little dude has eyes. Yay! I will do the same with this little guy and this little guy. And they were, I guess I was in the green when I picked my colors, because all 3 of these are mostly green. But anyway, you can do them in whatever colors you want. I got some purple here. I got some pink. I've got blue in a larger size. So that's this. This is from this guy. This is a 5-inch square, or 6-inch. Let me see. Yeah, 5. And then these are 5.5. They're smaller. And that's these little guys. Da, 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 da. Okay. So that is our first. And they look darling when they're in a basket. Just sitting in there, hanging out. Do. Okay, anyway, sorry. A little childlike behavior there. Yay. Okay. So next we'll be doing some carrots to put in there. And we'll get started on that in just a sec. Okay, our second little quick sew is a stuffed carrot. Now, I just took an 8x10 piece of a sheet of paper out of my printer and made kind of a carrot shape, okay? So if this is something that's beyond your capabilities, because honestly, a lot of people can't envision, and that's okay. I have trouble envisioning a lot of things. It took me a little while to fiddle with this. I got the paper out. I kind of drew on it. I erased. I did this. I did that until I got what I wanted. But basically, this is the shape you want. Something similar to this. You could do a triangle, just a triangle. I think it looks a little cuter this way. If you cannot manage this on your own, you can go online, and I am almost positive if you put in free pattern for stuffed carrots, you'll find something where there's something you can print out and cut out. If you can't do all that, basically, I'm just going to lay this right here. I'm going to hold this up just like this. Let me see if I can do it. Take a screenshot of this, resize it to fit your printer, and cut it out. We don't have to be technical. Well, actually, that kind of is technical. I'm proud of myself when I figured that one out. Anyway, okay, so here we go. I already cut some out. Basically, I laid them down on my fabric. You need to cut 2, as you can see on here. My fancy little stuffed carrot cut 2. You need to cut 2. So I just took a piece of fabric, folded it in half. This was left over from some doll playhouses that I was making a while back. And I just cut right around there. Precision is not required, but is admired. I am not in the category of someone who is good at precision. So you can either join my club or hate it. Haters will be ignored. Okay, here we go. All right. Ta-da! All righty. Done. Cut out. I just had a couple of pins in it to keep my... These carrots can be done in whatever color you want. I'm basically going to take this here little carrot, so to speak, and I'm going to sew all the way around and leave this top place right here open. I am not sewing that. Okay? When I get done doing that, I will have something like this. All right? These are cute in orange colors. You can do all orange. You can do pink. You can do purple. You can do mauve. I have even made them for my grandsons in both Marvel and Star Wars characters. You get it to this point, and now you're gonna want a top. All little carrots need a top, right? So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is get your carrot stuffed. So I'm gonna stuff my carrot right now and get right back to you. Okay, my carrot, so to speak, carrot is stuffed. And I have cut myself out a, I don't know, like a square, almost square, it looks a little rectangle, piece of green. You can use whatever color you want. I like green. This is a light green. You can do it in darker greens. I had some of this laying around. That's nice too. Whatever you want. Okay, these are your babies. Like this, these little polka dots would look really cute. So anyway, I'm not even ironing it, but you can see what I did was I cut it out and then I just did these strips. Cut little strips in it, similar to what I did to the comb on the chicken. And I'm going to fold that like this. See, I folded it 3 ways. And I'm just going to put that down into the top of my carrot. And then I'm going to, well, let's see. Maybe it'd be easier to show you this way. Fold over the top of your carrot like that. See how I just folded that in? And then I'm going to do like I did with this and fold it 3 ways. See, you got your little sandwich. I'm going to put it down inside of it. Now the next step is I'm going to take this and I'm going to sew kind of like a gather seam with double thread all the way around this to close the opening, and then I'll pull it tight. I'll show you how I do that once I get it sewn up. Okay, I don't think I made myself quite clear. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the carrot and do a gather stitch just like this. See how I went in and out, all the way around. And then when I'm ready to do the next step, I'll add the little greens at the top. So now you can see I did a gather all the way around the top of this fabric. And at the same time, put kind of a hem and folded the fabric around all the way. Now I'm going to take this little piece and I might even fold it again. I'm going to stash them down in there like that. Like that. I'm going to pull it tight. See how I pulled all those gather stitches up? And then I'm going to take my little carrot at this point and I'm going to put that needle down through to the other side, because what I'm wanting to do now is catch the fabric that is the little carrot top in there. So I'm going to do that a few times in one way out the other, making sure that I don't grab these little guys in the process. Okay, in one way, out the other. And that's why you keep that little strip at the bottom that is not cut so that you have something to sew into. And then you can even go in and out in more than one spot, kind of like you, oops, see, there I caught it. Let's see if I can get it to go through without, all right. Now that I've done that, and by the way, when I do this part, I will use quilting thread for this and double it. Just because it's got more strength, it's going to hold up, it's a little more durable. Basically, then I'm just going to do like I showed you before. I'm going to find a place where I can go in and kind of come up and hide that little knot underneath. So I'm going to tie my knot in there, grab myself a little tiny tidge of fabric, come up, grab the loop with my finger, put my needle through a few times, pull it up tight, and do like you've seen me do before. I'm going to go right where the knot is, go into the fabric, come up somewhere else in my little carrot. Oh, that's my little buttercup. My little buttercup. Oh, it makes me smile. Okay. Clip. And now you have a cute little carrot. Now you can make these shorter if you want. A darker green might work even better, but I just think it's the most darling little thing on the planet. I'm going to show you an alternative way. I mean, there's hundreds of ways, things you can do for the tops. You could use felt, you could use whatever. But another way I like to do it is right here. I have these little dupers. Now, I already have these right sides or pretty sides together, as you can see. And I had a strip of fabric left over from another project. And I will lay it out so you can see, maybe. And I just cut a couple of things out, just whatever. And here I have them. I'm going to sew those on the machine, or you could do them by hand. Right sides together, 1/4 inch seam, scant 1/4 inch, whatever. And I'll be right back. Quick clip of all the curves, making sure that I do not cut into the seam. Oh, somehow I got some black thread in there. That black thread definitely wants to be a movie star. Okay, a little clip down there, a little trim around there. And then, of course, you backstitch beginning and end on these. Clip, 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 clip. Almost lost my clipper dealies. Clip, clip, and here we go again. Clip, 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 clip. I almost feel like I should have some music playing here or something, but so sorry, not today. All right, right side out. Gotta find my little Turner duber. And of course, it eludes me because it's white. Here we go. Nana's tablecloth was not, I guess, the best choice of... I'm not even gonna stuff these. I'm just gonna turn them out. Come on, baby. Let's get her done. What is that from? I think some weird comedian. Oh, yeah. I think it's that guy that, with the big belly. What is his name? Oh, well. Anyway, don't want to make anyone feel bad. All done. I don't know if you even saw me doing that. Here we go. Next step, I'm going to stuff the carrot, and we're going to put these in. Okay, I took those two and kind of folded them and whip stitched them together with an old piece of thread, just like that. I've sewn my opening just like I did on the other carrot. Let me see if I can find my little gathered stitch all the way around. I'm going to try to insert these. I might have wanted to make these a little longer, but anyway. And then I pull it up around it, pull that thread up tight. Easier said than done, Sandy. And I'm just going to sew that in just like I did the other, and this little carrot will be done. So here he is, guys, my second little carrot. I think if you did these in solid colors and put little faces on them, that would be cute as well. We have our little carrots. Little carrots. And we have our chicks. And you can put these in baskets and they fill them out. They take about 10 minutes when you're not going on and on and on about things like I was doing. And you can throw them in the basket. So mamas, after the babies go to bed tonight and you're doing those Easter baskets, throw it on in and make it look like the Easter Bunny really knows what he's doing. Okay, well, here I am again, Miss Sandy. And at my house, as they always say, it's always something.